Hey, good morning.
Let's do it.
Morning.
Hey, did you guys solve the mysteries of the universe while I was?
Absolutely, as
Yeah.
we do,
Okay.
yeah, in 10
Very
seconds.
good. Very good. Dirk, looking sharp. Good to see
Th-
everybody.
Thank
There's
you.
Alec. Hey, for our new members, it's Fun Friday, and first Friday of the month is Formal Friday. So look, Mindy.
Oh,
Ah,
is that the
Yeah.
excuse? Okay.
There it is. There it is. Well, we never wear ties anymore. We all work from home in our underwear or whatever. At least Dirk does. And so, we gotta. Good to
it's
see you guys.
25
Hey,
degrees already. I'm sweating.
I hear you. I hear you. I'm actually going to turn on the air conditioning over here. It is what 83 degrees in Tampa Bay right now. So there's that. So much for winter. But welcome, guys. Welcome to Dirk, Lenny. I see Jennifer, Alex here, Allison, Angel, Gail's here. Hey, Mindy. There's Nadia, Rima, Shaquille, of course. We're going to probably hear from him today. We got Susan here, Terry. Anyway, welcome you guys. Glad you are here. I am John Lavinia, in case you're new here. I am the resident street philosopher. It's Fun Friday, so you know what our policy is. Somebody's got to tell a joke. So who's got the joke? Who's got the joke? Come on out.
You have an ugly mug.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right. That was family friendly. That we keep it rated G around here. So good time. Hey, you know what? Speaking of mugs, there's an accessory which I bought on this website you guys may have heard of. It's called Amazon. Let's see here. You've heard of that, yeah? Let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to show you something real quick. You guys want to see something? This is like the best
Yes.
thing. I've got it on my desk right now, and I use it every single day. It is.
Is it a
Yeah,
heater?
it is. It is.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah, check it out.
Because
So if you've
I
got
use
coffee
one
mugs-
too.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
it's
you go.
wonderful.
So
Ooh,
this
that's
one,
a fancy one.
this one has so it's got a pressure switch on bottom. You put the
Oh,
the
my.
cup, you put the cup
Uh-huh.
there, and then the pressure switch, it senses the weight and turns it on.
Oh,
Yeah,
Far
yeah,
out.
yeah. I was very excited about this. And there's
Nifty
three
tool.
temperature settings: 131 degrees Fahrenheit, 149, and 167.
Whoa.
Right. So just in case you were vague on the temperatures, now down to the 1 degree. So I guess they set it in centigrade, and they were like, well, what's the conversion?
Wow.
So they just printed the conversions. Yeah.
Does
There
it
you
have
go.
an auto shut off?
4 hours. Yeah. 4 hours.
good.
So if you leave
Okay.
your cup on there for 4 hours, it'll shut itself down. But you take the cup off
Uh-huh.
and it shuts off. You put the cup down, it turns on. And so, yeah, and I found that the medium setting, 149,
Mhm.
which it's on right now, by the way, is perfect for me anyway.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Wow. Yeah, now hold on. Are you feigning enthusiasm? I'm hearing oohs and ahs going
No,
on here.
I'm
No?
full.
Okay.
gonna
Well, I
get
liked
one.
it so much that I bought one for my wife as well, because she had one where you actually had to press the button. You had to turn it on with your finger. It's like, oh, what a pain in the ass. So now she's got the automatic one too. So,
I've left mine on all weekend at work.
uh-huh.
And I came back to a very ugly cup of dried coffee on the bottom. And
Yeah.
thank goodness the building didn't burn down.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah, that would have been even more of a liability. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I
this one
kept my
shut down.
job.
There you go.
Bonus.
Dirk, you had a comment?
No, it was a bonus.
Right.
That she kept the job. That's good.
Very
Well done,
good.
Susan.
Very good. For as long as you need it, keep the job. All right. Well, welcome everyone once again to our daily success call. Our new members are probably wondering, what isn't this like about e-commerce or something? Well, yeah, I just demonstrated e-commerce to you. I bought stuff on the internet and it showed up and I'm using it. It worked. It worked, guys. I got a brown box and stuff, and inside there was like some bubble stuff and then the product, and it was good. Right now, I know everyone here, you're engaged in a different form of e-commerce, right? So you've got print on demand. Here's the cups themselves, and here's the t-shirts, and here's the printable items and the pillowcases and the Christmas ornaments. By the way, one of our members here came out with a Christmas ornament that was a total hit. I think my wife wound up buying a dozen of them and sending them to our clients. We run a branding and marketing agency, but you're doing a different form of e-commerce. The person who sold me this, and there's a few of them on there, okay, with the same identical product with a different brand, okay, but that person had to go and they had to source the product from, I'm sure it wasn't a domestic one, right? I mean, what's coming out of the US or Canada these days in terms of these sort of consumer items. So there's probably a Chinese product. And then they had to invest in that. They had to get that product over to Amazon for FBA, and they had to compete with the other people who were selling the exact same thing, okay, to hopefully win the sale and maybe make $1 or something, okay? So what I want to talk with you about today is the difference between the uniqueness and the subjective value of what you do versus what I call the race to the bottom. The race to the bottom. What do I mean by that? Right? So here's a commodity. Here is, we could say, pick any commodity. Here's an ounce of silver. Silver is a commodity, right? What's it worth? Well, the whole marketplace agrees on what it's worth. So an ounce of silver, what's silver right now? $24 or something, right? Fine. Okay. And that's the price. And that's not open for debate, right? And by the way, that price changes every 10 seconds, right? It's going up, it's going down and whatever, but it's a commodity and there's no silver better than that silver. It's just silver. If we're talking about, bullion or industrial grade silver, that's it. Okay. So it's very objective, or we could say commoditized. Now you can mint it into coins, and this coin looks cool and I collect coins. Oh, so I want that design. Let me pay more, right? So that's fine. That's fun, I suppose. But it's an ounce of silver, all right? Or a barrel of oil, or a bushel of wheat, or whatever the commodity is. On this hand, though, we have subjective value non-commodities, things that are valuable to an individual based on who they are, how they think, what their proclivities are. That means natural leanings and tendencies, right? What they want. So it's not about what they need. Like I need, 100 pounds of silver because I'm running the industrial factory and I need to make the wires and the silver, and right. So there's use for that commodity. Here, let's say, for example, a coffee cup. Well, it's a receptacle that holds liquids as well as any other. Okay, so to that end, yeah, it's a commodity, but I mean, you could just cup your hands, I suppose. If you're drinking actual hot liquids, then that would be pretty uncomfortable. But so we've evolved as a species, and we know how to make receptacles and cups, and so that's cool. Okay, but why this one? Why this one? Why did I pay whatever I paid for this one? Does it hold liquid better than the other ones that I've got a cabinet full? My wife and daughter, they keep buying coffee cups. They're probably your customers, right? I say no more coffee cups. The cabinet is beyond full. Like, how many more coffee cups do you need? But it's not about need. It's not about need. There's the trick. It's not about need. Do people buy what they need?
No.
No. Well, sometimes, hopefully, right? But do people buy what they want? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So you see, there's a major difference here. And sometimes the two commingle, which is really, nice and useful and utilitarian. But the idea that people will exchange with you for something that they don't need is a foreign concept for some of you. You've been working really hard at your job, your other businesses, your whatever you've been putting your effort into up to this point. And you've survived. Congratulations. Well done, right? That bears fruit to whatever degree. And there's an equation that has been set up in your mind, or a ratio. Here's time in exchange for money. And this much time and effort, let's say, produces this much money. And here I am asking the public to give me money in exchange for something they don't need. Their hard-earned money. Here's the question. Are you okay with that? You damn well better be. Okay. So if there's like a mental block, if there's something that because of your own paradigm, your own programming, or whatever you've been trained into through years or decades of your life, saying that in the back of your mind, you know what, I intend to be successful in this business, but is it good and right for me to, $20 for a coffee cup? You know what? I paid a lot more than that. That one says Harley Davidson on it. So, what HD stands for? It stands for $100, right? Nobody's getting out the door for less than $100 when you walk in there. So, but do we need that? No, we don't need it. Do we want it? Yeah. Am I willing to buy it? Yeah. Nobody held a gun to my head. Step right up, right? People spend billions of dollars a year just here in the United States. I know we got Aussies and Brits and everybody else on here. No Antarcticans though. Any Antarcticans today? Still no Antarcticans.
Not yet.
What? My goodness. But anyway, billions of dollars a year on stuff. George Carlin did a good bit on this. You guys remember George Carlin? He did a bit on stuff. Drives my daughter crazy now. She's 11. She accumulates stuff like crazy. I'm like, where are you going to put all this stuff? I said to her name's Trinity. I said, Trinity, if it wasn't for me and your mother, you would have there's you and this mountain of stuff, and you perched on top of it. You and your mountain of stuff. So I think order is a good thing. I'm at the stage in life, and I know some of you are as well, that you're like, you know what, let me release some stuff. Let me lighten the load here. Let me simplify a little bit. Okay, so that's cool. But still, that's you. Okay, is that the entirety of the marketplace? No, man, they want stuff. They want stuff. They can't wait to find your unique, and again, totally subjective, okay, but your unique take on a coffee cup, a funny saying, a T-shirt, a pillowcase, a Christmas ornament, or whatever. They can't wait to give you that money. And the fact that you might not buy it, well, you're not the customer. Okay. So back to the original idea, is it good and right for you to make a lot of money without doing a lot of work? Really is what it comes down to. If your programming has been, I need to work my ass off to make a pittance so I can pay the electric bill or something. Well, if that's your paradigm, then it's going to be pretty uncomfortable. In fact, I would dare say that you could actually repel sales. You see, there is intention, right? That's the driving force for you making your efforts here. And then there can be counter intention. Yeah, this is good and right, but, and then whatever comes after the but, right? There's what you really believe. So that inner conflict, or that cognitive dissonance, right? A lot of times we're going to have to get out of our own way. And why did I recommend those books? You guys all got the books, right? Why did I recommend Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker? Because this is a filter change. Like in your car or your motorcycle or whatever you drive, you got the oil filter, right? So one of the functions of oil is not only to lubricate, but to clean. It takes the particles, the little burnt pieces of carbon. Why does the oil get blacker and darker as it ages and it gets used, right? Because it's cleaning the internals out of the engine. I know a lot about this stuff because I used to be in that world. But okay, what happens? Then that stuff gets filtered out, and then cleaner oil, it's still not perfect, okay, but because it's still got little residues, but cleaner oil goes through the engine again, cleans it again, lubricates, right? But eventually that filter is full of crap. You got to change the filter. So when we get into things like the conversations we have here and personal development and entrepreneurship and all this stuff, which seemingly has nothing to do with, coffee cups, whatever, those are methods, those are medium of exchange, right? That fine, whatever the methods are, but who's doing it? Here's the question. Someone who's constantly in a battle with themselves about should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? Or here's one. You want to talk about cognitive dissonance. A lot of people grew up with the paradigm of have to. You have to do this, you have to do that. You have to do your chores, you have to do your homework. A lot of have tos, a lot of obligations, which translates very nicely to the employee world, right? Where you're now subscribed to some corporate agenda where you're following orders and you have to, if you want a paycheck, right? The other side of that is you can't. How many of us have been indoctrinated into you can't. Don't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. Right. I mean, if you're owning this, then you've got some of it, right? Here's the best one of all, though. I can't, but I have to. I can't, but I have to. Reconcile that one. And a lot of people walk around with that. So what am I getting at here? Not to go too deep down the philosophical rabbit hole. What I'm getting at here is that in many cases, we've got to, I'll just speak for myself. What I had to do was take a look at my own best thinking, which got me this far, but not further. And so take a look at some of these beliefs. Who sold me that idea? And what kind of results did they get? Were they rolling around in piles of cash and frolicking through the tulips or something? No, they were broke. Let me unbuy that deal. And it's uncomfortable. These are my most cherished beliefs, man. This is who I am. Okay. That's what you say. But are you brave enough to actually look and say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and relieve myself of these, whatever this is here. I'm going to dispense with that and get on with the next chapter. And the next chapter is I'm here to make a pile of money, make a friggin' spectacle of myself unapologetically. And I'm going to do so through voluntary effort of people who want to give me money in exchange for this stuff. And I'm not going to work hard. Because, as long as money and time are interconnected like that, then it's very linear. How do you make more money? Apply more time, more effort, right? Where's the leverage? Where's the leverage in that? Guys, read The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. It's one of the books I recommended. And he'll enlighten you a bit about, the different, in this case, 4 different strategies that people apply to making money and surviving and providing a lifestyle and whatever. But the one that's most common is the employee quadrant. Employee, which I already kind of described, very linear, no leverage. All right. Self-employed, it's a nice step up, right? Where it's still laborious, okay, but at least you've got some causation in that. You've got some self-determinism, which is really cool. And that's very therapeutic right there. My goodness, just to know that you're in control, that you can write your own check, so to speak. Okay, but still very little leverage in that. The next quadrant is B for business owner. The business owner, now we've got leverage, right? So now it's not just, you running the shop. Okay. So now it's, you're on that post, I don't touch that work. You're better at that than me, right? I make the decisions. And now we can all profit from that, right? That's how enterprises are built, right? That's where you get leverage, right? Leverage comes from surrounding yourself with people who are better than you are at certain things. And then the final quadrant is the investor, I for investor, right? So now we've just jumped over from earned income in its various forms to capital gains. There's 2 ways to make money, guys, in the whole world. There's only 2 ways: people working and money working. That's it. Okay. So people working, you can be an employee, self-employed, business owner. Those are people working, right? And then there's capital gains, investing, right? Investing in what, by the way? And this is what I'm going to leave you with today, and then I'd love to open it up. Okay. So what do people invest in? If you're an investor right now, I'm sorry, Lenny, you had a comment?
Making money.
Okay.
Invested in making money.
Okay. Well, the end product is that you have more money than you started with, hopefully, right? So that if that was a successful investment, if we're talking about capital gains, not capital losses, but it could go both ways.
Capital gains in the stock market.
Crypto.
Right.
Crypto.
Okay, great.
That's
a rocky
I'm
road.
interested in.
It's
Okay.
it's a
How
rocky
about the
road that's
time?
made some people millions of dollars.
Sure.
Making me
Sure. And it's lost some
losing me.
people millions of dollars. Right.
Yeah.
So just understand there's 2 sides of every coin. But what people invest in, if they're smart, are things which appear to have an increase. In other words, if I was going to invest in your company, so here's Anthony. Hi, Anthony. And he's great. He's competent, you see, and he runs his enterprise. And his enterprise is going public, you see, because they could use more capital for expansion. Okay. And I say, yes, Here you go, Anthony, have some money because I think you're friggin' awesome. And go grow my investment now. I'm not touching it. I don't know what you do. You're awesome. You go be awesome. Here, have some money and go make me more. Right. So people invest in competence. Now, if Anthony was a ne'er-do-well and can't get out of his own way and whatever, bad investment. All right. So let's bring that home now. So cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki, here you are, right? And you're doing what? You're making new efforts to build enterprise, to build business. Here's the question, guys. Are you a good investment? Are you competent? Do you intend to be? I'll tell you what, best investment I've ever made, ever, is in my own ability to earn.
Well, mine too.
Right. So now we're talking, right? And look, I've personally invested over $300,000 into my own education, after leaving government schools and whatever they teach there. Right. And I've made a bit more than that. So that was a good bet. I bet on me. Can you bet on you? I guess there's the question. I think you guys are a good investment. I'm investing in you right now. My time. And I am busy. Like, you guys should see my calendar. Oh my goodness. Oh, you want to talk about busy.
I can relate
Anyway.
to that.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this? We've got a few hands up. We got Pat, we got Alec. Pat, why don't you come on out here? Give us some of your experience because you know stuff.
All right. Well, I was thinking two things. When I taught, I started out as a special education teacher for the educable retarded. I did that for about 3 years. But I kept changing. I must have taught. I taught one time. I taught a multi-grade class of 5th to 8th graders. I taught high school. I taught English. I taught math. I taught science, because I always wanted to improve and to learn more about teaching. And when I was offered the chance to go into administration, I had to think carefully, because being an administrator, I had the chance to teach more teachers, but I felt that my gift was in the classroom. So despite the better money and other perks that were with it, I stuck. And this to me is it's another way of expanding my store of knowledge. I've been devouring the books. I've read the 5-second rule, I think, 3 times. And, but investing in myself, I made my first sale last night. It was $250.
Well done.
And what's really funny about it is that it came through my Gear Bubble store, because I guess I put it up on Facebook a few weeks ago when I first started things. And the reason I didn't put it on Etsy, because it was a wedding gift for my granddaughter, and her fiance. And I made one for her and one for him and had their names on it. And I got the message, could I personalize it? And they wanted them. And I thought, wow. So maybe I will put it up on Etsy, but I thought that's great, since I've only been, doing things like that for about 2 weeks. So
Pat,
really
congratulations. You know what? One is infinitely better than 0. That is wow. Wow.
And if you can make 1, you can make 10.
There you go. Only just zeros now, right? Add some zeros. Well done, my friend. So glad you're here, Pat. Alec, you've got the floor. You got your hand up, Alec.
Sir. Okay, well, you had mentioned one thing that actually I've been very, very lost lately, but you did mention one thing that really stuck with me right now, and he said you just said something about personal development, which brought on another memory of a guy that I like to watch his videos on YouTube. I mean, I'm not very much of a YouTube person, well, except for my music, but there's this guy I love to watch his videos, and I was watching one yesterday or maybe early this morning where he was talking about to not focus on the big wins. Like, why can't you just, for now, you know, as you are developing and everything, why not just focus on the little wins? So why jump from A to Z when you still have several different letters in between the two? And that was something that I really had to focus on. And I liked when Pat was saying right now that she had gotten the job offer as a education administrator, and she wasn't comfortable with that, and it did bring a lot of the a better understanding. Well, really, I mean, I kind of knew, like, at the time what it was. This was really just to hear it from somebody else. I just feel like it has a different meaning, because several times I have gone to work and they'll tell me, like, hey, well, we want to make you a manager one day, and we want to do this, and we want you to go and do that. But I never wanted to. I always just like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Like, oh, but why not? Because I don't want to do that. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, it'll be better for the company, yes, but then that kind of just makes me feel like you mentioned, like, you have to it kind of just made me feel like that. And it was like, okay, well, I don't want to be married to the job. That makes no sense. Like, why? So I can grow up to be just like you, miserable? Yeah, so thank you, Pat. I mean, you cleared out a lot of things that I still didn't completely understand, but you did make that very, very clear right now. And thank you, John, for mentioning personal or self-development. That
You're welcome.
really just brought an understanding to a lot of things that have been going through my mind lately. So thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, Pat's win, that initial sale, well, what did she make? $10 or whatever, who cares? But the acknowledgement of that little win, that is huge, right? That's proof of concept. Not in the marketplace. We already know you got a brown paper box that shows up every day, right? It works. Okay. But proof of concept for Pat, that's validation. That's an indicator. We're going down the right path here of production and causing commerce to happen. Everything that you signed up for in the first place. Well done. Thank you, Alec. Hey, we got Scott Barker and then we got Shaquille, two of our regulars here. Two of the usual suspects.
Interesting thing, just relating to what Alex said. Alex said, I noticed when I was working in the hospital, I was a floor manager there in the operating theatre, and detail is very important in terms of what you do and how you do it, because you're dealing with patients, so everything matters. So one thing that I noticed, though, is that the people who did the small things well, and you can use this as an analogy of small goals, the people who do the small things well, the details, they always were people who had a vision of themselves or what they wanted to achieve, but certainly a vision of a larger vision than just that task. They were never their consciousness was never confined to that particular task, that particular job. It was always in the context of something bigger. And that's why those sort of people, you would accelerate into management positions, because they had a bigger vision. And that vision touched everything they did. And then you had others who just hated every little task. Said, "Oh, why am I doing this? Oh, it's beneath me. It's a nothing thing." And they focused all their attention on on the smallness of the task, rather than seeing it in the context of a bigger end game or a bigger vision of who and what they are as a person. And the difference between the two people is very stark. One I could trust with patience, one I couldn't. It was that being, and the ones that could do the small tasks, often they ended up in management positions in other hospitals or whatever, and they succeeded because just that vision colors everything you do, and it's very, very important. And also too, you mentioned about, and you mentioned this yourself, when you go to a new city or town over, you always like to get a Harley t-shirt or a Harley something because you love Harleys, and that's fair enough. I mean, I love Harleys too, but I like Volkswagen and I like Fire King, Fire King crockery, weird things.
Right.
But someone could say, "Oh, that's a silly thing. You don't really need that," but that's coming from an outside perspective. We have to think of what is your perspective. Your perspective is, I need it. Because what you'll find is that people will naturally gravitate towards creating an environment around themselves which resonates with what's important to them. And what's important to you is not externally verifiable. That is part of your world. Your world says Harley is important. That's not the world of everyone, but it's your world. And so for you, that's real. And for you, that's a need. That's a need, as real as getting a physical object. It's an emotional need. You need that continuity between your outer world and your inner world. And if someone can trigger that, can capitalize on that, then you're happy. You're happy to do that. And I think that continuity
I didn't have to go
is important.
build a motorcycle myself. That was, well, how convenient, right? Here, have 20 grand. You build the motorcycle.
Yeah. I mean, and they come along with this thing that resonates with something deep inside you. That's far more than a want. That is an emotional need. And what you'll find, you will surround yourself. Say if you have a new house or a new whatever, you will color that house with an extension of your own personality, because you naturally feel driven towards a continuity between what's inside you and your immediate environment. And that's more than just a want. That's an emotional need.
Fair enough. And I'm sure you're familiar with Abraham Maslow's hierarchy and all this, right? So yeah, we can look at that hierarchy and yeah, I mean, it's not, food, water, air, shelter, right? So, but it's still in that hierarchy of needs, according to Maslow, right?
But it depends what's real to you. What's real to you is that Harleys are important, and that it gives enjoyment and gives happiness. It gives it gives me a buzz. That's your reality, and so you will naturally seek to get that inner reality expressed in your immediate outer reality. We naturally tend to converge those two.
Right. We're getting pretty deep now down the philosophical rabbit hole. Thank you, Scott. Thank you. But we got a whole variety of people here. We're going to hear from Shaquille and then Pat. But we got a whole variety of people here with different proclivities and interests and everything else. Which, by the way, that's another indicator. What does that indicate? That indicates that it's impossible to saturate the market. That's what that indicates, because Perry, right? Hey, Perry. He's interested in different stuff than Pat. Fine. Right. Hi, Shaquille. Save us, Shaquille. What are we talking about? Help me.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. What are we talking about? Well, first of all, we were talking about cognitive dissonances, right? And a whole host of other things. But honestly, I agree with Scott, and I like what he was talking about. I think that Zoom is great because we get this cool like mosaic of faces in a bunch of different places, and like each of our inner, it does represent the outer, and like together we create the whole picture. But not to dive even like deeper into this rabbit hole. You brought up a joke earlier that today is what kind of Friday?
Yeah.
It's Fancy Friday or like Funny Friday?
Oh, it's every Friday is Fun Friday, but the first Friday of the month is Formal Friday, so I wear a tie,
Formal Friday. Well,
which I just totally originated out of thin air. It doesn't mean anything. It's just fun.
Hey, put it on a t-shirt, put it on a mug. But I don't know. I got a great dad joke that I thought was funny. You want to hear it?
Oh yeah.
I don't care. Here it comes. So, guys, why couldn't the bike stand up by himself?
Why?
Because he was too tired.
That's pretty
You get
bad.
it?
Yeah.
That one was stinky.
Shaquille, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Shaquille. Good times. Good times. Pat, you want the last word?
Yeah, I just, based on what Scott was saying, it reminded me of a story. Man was walking down the street where a cathedral was being built. And he was looking at the bricklayers and he noticed one seemed almost angry. One was laying his bricks carefully and the other one was singing. So he asked the first one what he was doing. He says, I'm laying bricks. And he asked the second one, he says, I'm building a wall. And he asked the third one and he said, I'm building a cathedral. And, that's something I heard that stuck with me all my life. But the other thing I wanted to address what Alex said, that one of the reasons I turned down the administrative job was because I never went into a day teaching that I felt I was going to work. I loved teaching. I loved my students. I just loved everything about the job. Matter of fact, we had summers off. My husband and I budgeted so that all our bills were paid for the summer and whatever money was left over, was our fun money. But about middle of August, my mind started going to teaching plans, what I was going to do, because I was so looking forward to starting a new thing, especially if I was going into a new area that I hadn't taught before. And it was the joy, and then comparing that with the administrative, where I'd have to do paperwork, and not that I didn't do paperwork, but it would have been a drudgery to me as opposed to doing something that lit up my life. And I think that's important. And that's one of the things this is doing for me. You haven't seen my shop yet, but it's Pat's Blue Sky Creations, and under it I have gifts that make you smile. And that's what I have always tried to do with my students, with my kids, with all the people I come in contact with. I want to make you smile.
Well, you've made all us smile here today, Pat. Thank you. You're
Thank you.
a cherished member of the community. Pat, ladies and gentlemen, Pat.
You're
Awesome
so
stuff.
sweet, Pat.
Hey guys, I'm going to be back here with you on Monday. Let's have a weekend, right? What do you think? We'll do a weekend. We'll do it. Let's do it. All right.
Let's do it.
I'll see you all again real soon. Make it a good one. You guys rock. Have a great